a demanding love. If I have to become happy depending upon the person's nature, behavior, etc., then my love may be there, may not be there. Because the other person may not be able to make me happy. Because my fancies and demands are so funny that no idiot can really make me happy. No wizard can make me happy. And naturally, therefore, so that I would say God is love in the sense, when there is love, there is no isolation. You love because you love. Why? Because there is no isolation. When there is no isolation, when there is no demand. When there is no demand, there is what is. And what is God. God is love. In love there is what is. And therefore God is love. What is God. There is nothing more. What is God. The world, the stars, the earth, yourself, your mind, your thoughts, consciousness, all together is called God. And therefore God is love, because what is love, and what is God, and God is love. Okay. I don't know how to stop wanting. Even listening to you, I seem to add more wants or replace the old ones. Are there good wants to want? Sure. Therefore, that's true. You must have some wants. That is why there are two types of want. Wants, the want for freedom from want. Okay? A want for freedom from want, which is also a want. And that want, a want from freedom from want, is a great want. That one want you must have. That one want you must have. That is a different want. Why? Because freedom from want is yourself. It is not different. Therefore, you can't desire a thing that is yourself. Can you desire for your head? Come on. Can you say, oh God, give me a head over my shoulders? Can you say? Suppose God were to come. You have been praying to the Lord and God obliges, He is right in front of you. You ask God, God, please give me a head over shoulders. What will God say? God will say, I can't give you. Why you can't give me? Even though He's God, I tell you, He can't give you. So why you can't give me? He says, this one thing I can't give you because you have one already over the shoulders. If you want one more, I can give you. One more head you want, you ask me where to place it. One over the other. A two-tier. What do you call it? So, like some of these buses, double-decker buses, two-tier. So you want one more or two more you want? Sure. I can pile up any number of heads you want, I'll give you. Even though I don't think the matter will be better, but then your life is going to be better, but then I can give you one more head. It doesn't matter. I will give you. Or you want back to back, one here, sure. On your right side, one, sure. So you name it, but don't ask me a head over shoulders because I can't give you what you have. But if you ask me, please give me something inside the head, I won't promise you, I will try. God says that. I will try because that is also a problem. And therefore, perhaps God can give that easily. But don't ask me head over shoulders for what I have can never become an object of desire unless I don't know it. Therefore, if I want a freedom from want, and that want is a want of what I am, therefore it is in terms of knowledge. It is not something new. And another thing, that want swallows all other wants. So as the want for freedom grows, all other wants are swallowed. Naturally, if you have a freedom from want, then you can't keep, and that want grows at the cost of all other wants. Then suppose you discover, I am free from all wants, I am free already, I am so free I can have some wants. I am so free, I can have some wants. Not that you are free, but therefore you can't have wants. So one fellow said, so I am free, therefore I can't have wants. I'm sorry, I can never have wants. I'm free, no? I'm already free, I can't have wants. I said, you are so free that you can have some wants too. Be free and have wants. Don't think by fulfilling wants you would be free. That is silly. Therefore, be free enough to have some wants, but discover you are free. And therefore, that freedom swallows all wants. Itself goes. How long you would have the freedom for, want for freedom? Until you discover freedom. And once you discover the freedom, that want is gone. Then afterwards, what about life? Well, you are so free that you can have some wants. Yeah? That's good. So you can have them. Sometimes I wonder, is it necessary to learn about the self? Sometimes some people apparently feel content with their life. Why, how and when do people feel curious about the inner self? The real question is, must they? This question itself is that. The question itself tells that there is a love to know oneself. Now, the question is that some people, the question is this: is it necessary to know oneself? Sometimes one feels like one is curious to know oneself. Sometimes one doesn't feel like knowing oneself, one feels content with one's life. Is it necessary that one should really know about oneself? Why? Where is the big necessity for it? One can conduct one's life without one's knowledge, with one's life. And if one is content with it. The question is whether one is content. Whether one is content. Content with what? Content with the disease? Content with the body? With death? With the limitations? Content with what? You ask that fellow's life is all just because he doesn't know what he doesn't know. That's a problem. It is a question of not knowing what I don't know. It's a problem of loss by ignorance. You know, you lose something because you are ignorant of what you are losing. Suppose you don't know how precious it is, you may lose it. Like an old painting that you have got. You thought this painting is only just local painting and it is all old and is useless, and therefore you throw it away. And that is the painting, the original painting of some Vinci. Well, and therefore afterwards, then at that time you are content, you are above that painting. It is nothing, after all for you it is nothing. It's not that you throw away Vinci, but then you just throw away an old painting. And then one fellow said, hey, this is Vinci. Then it's cost $2 million. $2 million. It need not be. It may be a simple old painting. One fellow said that it is Vinci. Afterwards, you should see this fellow. He can't even wink his eyes. All his eyes are upon it. Doesn't wince afterwards. And why? Because it is Vinci. Until somebody else comes and gives him a great disappointment, telling him, no, it's only a local artist, somebody tried to copy Vinci, it is nothing. It is worth not even the paper, because paper itself is old, therefore forget it. It's not even worth the cloth, it's over. And he's disappointed, because in between he was owner of 2 millions. Now, so what a loss. Well, I tell you, this is what they call. So suppose it is Vinci. It is a precious thing. And he doesn't know that he is the owner of it. It is a disowning something by sheer ignorance. When you are limitless and you are working for it, look at that person, is he contented or not? Not at all. He is not contented. That is not correct. It is not correct. To say that I am contented with my life, it is not correct. Life is not for simple contentment. Life is meant for adventure and exploration. And you must explore much more. I am contented with, that is generally people who say I am contented are lazy. Generally they are lazy. Not that they are contented or anything. They are lazy. Or they had an ambition and they achieved. And afterwards, that law, the law of Murphy's law, they're reaching the utmost point of inefficiency. Yeah, Peter. Yeah, and so you have reached the point of inefficiency. No more you can do anything. And therefore you retire. That's called contentment. There's not contentment. And so one has got to know, especially when one happens to be what one wants to be, one has got to know. And more than that, I can never afford to be ignorant of myself, whether it is worth it or not. I should know certain things. I should know. I can never be ignorant of myself, because I should know for good whether this is I or something else is I. I should know this for good, because one can never be ignorant of oneself. Afford to be ignorant of oneself. You can be ignorant of medicine, you can be ignorant of law, you can be ignorant of anything, but you can't be ignorant of yourself, because it is that makes all your life meaningful, pursuits meaningful, living meaningful. If the self is confused, what is the use? It's something like always you are a somnambulist, walking in dream walking all the time. It's a daydreaming. There's not life at all, there's no living. There is life only when you have got a content. You have no content when you don't see yourself. It's a false fellow knocking about. Okay. And then again, thought is an object of awareness. Being an object, it must be limited. Sure, anything that is limited must cause conflict. Also, walking, talking, etc. is a process of thought. So, involving the operative subject. My question is, does self-realization take place only when the mind is totally stilled, even for a second? And does acting without realizing one's fullness necessarily mean conflict? Not necessarily. I won't say in the still mind you recognize yourself. I will say when you recognize yourself, you are still. The other way about. If still mind amounts to recognition of the self, then you have to only still the mind, which doesn't happen. Because still mind you always pick up stillness of mind. And between thoughts there is stillness of mind. And there is no self-recognition. And therefore, in self-recognition, there is naturally stillness of mind, in the sense, because you see the self as it is. Naturally, there is no thinking involved. There is only recognition of the self, which is a thought, no doubt. And that thought, self-recognizing thought, destroying self-ignorance, so which is one single occupation, and that destroys itself, and that is called self-recognition. There is stillness in it. And another thing, that action, even though limited, it need not create conflicts. It can be spontaneous. So conflict comes only when I have a concept of what is right and what is wrong. So when this concept of right and wrong, you can't say, I should be above concept of right and wrong. That is also not correct. Therefore, there is such a thing as proper, improper. And that improper, the concept of proper, and what I want to do are simultaneous. They are identical. They coincide with each other. They are the same, identical. Then there is spontaneity. You need not know anything. Even the most ignorant person can be spontaneous in his actions, without free from conflicts. As I cited before, so a person jumping into the pond need not be enlightened for it. Action is spontaneous. When you give a helping hand to somebody, well, there is spontaneous action. So somebody falls down, immediately you don't know who the fellow is. You don't know whether it's a he or she. From Adam you don't know him, from Eve you don't know her. But still you pick her up or pick him up, and then that's because, well, it is spontaneous. So whose question is that? Yeah. And therefore, so there is no necessity for self-knowledge in order to be spontaneous, but the one who has self-knowledge will be always spontaneous in his decisions, etc. There is spontaneity about it, because he doesn't lose anything. So it's what he thinks proper, exactly, and what he wants and what he wants to do and what is proper. Generally, they coincide. Therefore, spontaneous. If it is not spontaneous, there is deliberate action. There is nothing wrong in it. Conflict comes only when there is a deliberation. And at least if you deliberate and then go by what is right, then conflict comes to an end. But if you deliberate and do the wrong thing, conflict continues forever. Yeah, that's the thing. So thank you all very much. So, oh.